Hello everyone, this is Associate Professor Gans Nobi, Department of Gaming. I'm coming with you another talk about Leader Ash's strengths and weaknesses. I'm talking about greater influence here. This is like the fifth time I've done this. Unfortunately, just my voice isn't recording. The first time I did it was a live commentary too, and it was perfect, but yeah, it's unfortunate, but shit happens. So, as we see here, we have 3 points of this. Honestly, you want this to be at 4, and you'll see why in the game, why this should be 4. People spec into echoes, but that's just way too much, like, points to invest for it to be beneficial. So we have Fear No Evil too, because that's going to help us against Baal, and it's going to help us be unpossessable. Not that we do enough damage as Leader Ash. Like, you could take these points out and put it into Devastating Force, but then you're just not going to be good against Baal. And we have 3 points of the Seeing Stars. That's going to help us get into finisher range. The Chainsaw and Axe, if you do a light attack after a certain possession level or threat level for the demon, you're not going to be able to do immediate finisher. And so this is why I feel like the Sledge and Mace is better. And we saw that earlier in my Twitch stream against Warlord. I think the demon was like level 20, and after that, you just don't destroy the balance bar completely. So using a Mace or Sledge is better. But then you don't have a chance to proc Dismemberment. And this is why I kind of feel like the Sight is really good with Leader Ash if you're doing heavies, because it's more of a horizontal movement than the Axe's first hit is more up and down. So vertical. Here I'm talking about Devastating Force and like why, like, would you want to spec into Devastating Force and then go into Last Word? The problem is with that is if you proc the finisher and then you have to do 4 attacks before you can actually get the Last Word off, which at sometimes you may not be able to after a Jefe Grande. It all depends on the finisher you do and the animation it takes to finish it. We need Fear No Evil because we need it against Baal. You could take all this out and put it into Devastating Force here, and then put the 2 points here and here to have survivability, and it just increase there. But the problem is that you're taking away Leader Ash's greatest strength, which his ability is to be unpossessable and very hard to kill for a Baal. If the Leader Ash knows how to dodge properly and is patient. You have to be more patient than the demon. So, I think the optimal build here would be to take all these points out of range and put it into Devastating Force and fast forward. This is going to really help you in a team comp, and then also max out your aura range. This is going to help you against Baal very much and against Plague. You don't need to be doing range damage. If you're boosting your team and your team's good enough, your team is going to be able to do enough. And that's kind of the problem, like in solo queue, is why he feels just so underwhelming to use, is because you be buffing so much and your team is just not doing anything with the buff, whether like doing finishers or like they're not focusing the possess units and making it like hard for you to do finishers and stuff. This is why I like Devastating Force on, because it's just like I could go with a light attack, go immediately into a finisher. Nobody's going to try and steal the kill, so it doesn't, cuckold you or whatever. And you're going to see it in this Baal game where like a support Ash doesn't do a finisher but does a iframe on a unit and it doesn't kill it, and he does it right in front of me because he doesn't want me to kill the unit, but he doesn't benefit at all from that, where I could give him the fear resistance and increase his damage for 10 seconds and he could benefit from that. if he used his ability to reduce his fear, because at the time he was max fear. But yeah, I get very lucky in the game, and you're going to see that his strengths and weaknesses very quickly in this game. He's the leader that you need to be nearby at all times to get a benefit from. You can think of like the other leaders as you don't have to be nearby to get a benefit from them. You just need to be nearby them when there's a possessed unit to get the damage increase, so you can kill the possessed unit as quickly as possible. So you don't need the damage increase against AI. You can one-tap everything as a hunter, and you can one-hit everything as a warrior with a heavy strike. And this is just me telling you like the optimal build of how you would play in the coordinated team. And this is the build that's best against Plague and Baal, which are the top tier demons right now. Like, fast forward doesn't really work against Pup, but the fear resistance helps against Pup a lot. Like, a good leader Ash is just proccing finishers all the time. Like, survivors are going to be unpossessable, even with a possession build for Pup. And this whole time I thought I was recording my voice. I even go into party chat here so I don't disrupt my team. But unfortunately, that's what happens in the cut footage right here. I was still muted. Or the mic was just not picking up my voice. Now, the reason, like, I could tell like what kind of build this demon had. He was a P5 Baal, and he had a boss build. And because he had a boss build, it was mark damage, and it was boss damage. And he was maxed out all on the right side, and basically, yeah, bottom tree Baal. The problem with that is he doesn't have the proxies. Like, the reason I say that is because he doesn't have cooldown reduction on his portals. So for Baal to be effective against this team comp that we're actually running for a boss build, he would need those cooldowns. The reason is Ed could disarm the traps around, and he does a very good job. And I'll explain what he does when he does well with Ed. So also the Ed is really good here, which could be like a huge detriment to your team, because the high rarity weapons could actually down your whole team if a survivor isn't maintaining their fear correctly, which turns out to be your job as leader Ash. Because if you're not doing finishers to help maintain your team's fear, then you're fucking up. But at the same time, you're fighting to do the finishers, so your team is screwing you. So you're gonna get blamed, and you're on, at the same time, it's not your fault. As you see, we do a finisher here. This is going to help with fear reduction. The grenade launcher actually does work with dismemberment. The thing is, you have to shoot the unit as it's dying. So if Ed here kills a unit, and as its body is falling to the ground, you hit it with a grenade launcher, that does proc dismemberment. And I believe why that happens is because the unit doesn't have a balance bar, and it doesn't have a dismemberment bar. There's like a dismemberment bar for each limb, I think. But this is just a theory. A game theory, but no, just joking. That's what I think is actually going on in that situation. Because you can have the chainsaw as well and just keep meleeing enemy that's your warrior is doing a finisher on to kill it, and it could proc dismemberment as well. But the problem with this strategy is that you're wasting your time meleeing something that's already dead and shooting something that's already dead, and that becomes a problem. You're wasting ammo and you're wasting time. As a survivor, that's not what you should be doing. So this is the part where I'm like, okay, he's doing this, and he just does an iframe because he wants to kill, instead of me doing a finisher to buff his damage and buff his fear resistance. Now, I think he was going to get kicked into a trap here or something, but I don't know. I couldn't be certain. You never know. But I did shoot him out of it thanks to my range damage that I have for Leader Ash. But once again, my build isn't really going to be shown that well because I'm not shooting headshots here. I'm continuously proccing finishers, so this is kind of why I like Devastating Force better, because it's more of a benefit. Like, I could just use a hunting rifle against any other demon and proc Dismemberment if I need to buff my team. But against Baal, like, I need to be doing melee to proc finishes quicker to help my team with their fear resistance. As you see here, he's out of my aura range, so he's just gaining fear quickly, and that's how it is against Baal. But I'm trying to stay in the car because that's the greatest strength against Baal as well, because I'm not going to be hitting proxies, which is going to be marking me, and it means I'm going to take increased damage here. As you see, it takes 2 hits with a chainsaw to get the finisher done. As El Jefe Grande's proc, there is a trap there, so I take the trap because I'm just going to be taking that mark damage, and I'm not going to gain fear thanks to El Jefe Grande being procced. And once again, broken El Jefe Grande, so in case there's proxies inside, he's not going to gain that much fear. And luckily, we get the finisher off here again, and Demon Dash happens, and look how much fear everybody gained. Nothing. But once again, I'm fighting for finishers here to buff my team on fear resistance. I get really lucky here, and I steal the pipe away here. And this is going to help me very much with doing finishers, even though the pipe is a horrible weapon. Now you're going to see the problem, the weakness of Leader Ash, right here. As I'm walking away from my team, and I'm providing that fear resistance, now my Warrior Ash max fear because I'm not next to him. But I can't control what my team does. So I'm forced to either push forward or stay with my team and then just have my team just keep going down. Now, thanks to my team's skill level, they're able to depossess the Warrior Ash there, but he still has enough fear there to still take quite a bit of damage if he was proxied and furied on. So once again, my whole goal here is to buff myself here with fear resistance, even though I have Fear No Evil at 20% and fear is maxed out pink F wise. I just don't want the fear, because you're going to see my fear does go up even with full max Fear No Evil and pink F if I don't have El Jefe. So I benefit from it as well. And my fear does go down once I get El Jefe Grande proc there. So that's how I can kind of tell what kind of build he has. It does something really good here where he uses his ability. Like, there's not that many traps in this area. Like, he disarms the trap in front there, which isn't necessary because it's very easily dodgeable. But he goes downstairs and he disarms all the traps down there, which could be a huge thing against Baal. If he uses his ability right there, that trap will continuously go off. There'll be a ton of units blocking the way, and you'll get stuck down there. And if he proxies the stairway, that's going to get you stuck down there as well. Now, unfortunately, I didn't have El Jefe proc there, so fear was gained there. And now I'm doing finishers, kind of just keep the fear resistance up just in case. And you see that Warrior Ash opened her chest up and then hit that trap. And that was a trap 3 trap, and you saw that he gained no fear. And was shooting him because it's like, why did you open that when I have an ability to disarm traps? And this is me proccing the finisher again, but as you see, my team is once again not nearby, so they're not benefiting from the El Jefe Grande. This is why Leader Ash benefits from a team, because your team is just going to stay near you the whole time. And why you want greater influence, because it's going to be maxing out the range of it. And a car is your best friend against Baal, as I said before, because you need to continuously get into car or you're going to hit proxies. Now, Support Ash is doing something smart. He's getting in front of the car. I should be getting behind so we don't destroy the car. And so the second time when he possesses the car, I do that. But Support Ash still shoots the car. So that becomes pointless. So when you're on an objective against a demon, your fear doesn't go up and it doesn't go down. But at P5, you do gain fear against Baal. P1 is when your fear starts going up significantly. So my whole goal here is just proc finishers. If I'm procking finishers here, I'm going to make sure and maintain my team's fear. As you see here, they're just not gaining any fear. I mean, obviously, like the Fury here, and if the demon is focusing him, he is going to take that damage, but he's just not going to gain the fear when hitting traps. The demon is focusing a lot on cars too here because he wants to get rid of the cars. Because another strength for Baal is in between objectives, not really on the objective. Unless if there's a lot of traps on the objective. Like Action Village on Castle Kandar, there's a spot where there's just so many traps that you're just continuously hitting them as Survivor. And you need to be wary about how you're playing on the objective and know when his ability is up. So, as you see here, I'm going to do another finisher here just to maintain the fear here. And I was waiting for the support Ash to hit the demon there. Now, I'm trying to proc dismemberment by using the grenade launcher, but as you see, it just doesn't work. Even if I just hit the side of the unit, I'm trying to hit like the arms. I've also tried the saw gun, just trying to hit the arms of a basic. It does not work. And same with the hunting rifle. So you're kind of forced to just melee as Leader Ash to keep fear up. Or sorry, keep your fear resistance up. As you see here, it doesn't really depend where we are. Like it depends on where the AI is for me to get a heavy grounded proc. That's why we want the Master of Influence and Greater Influence maxed out. Because I don't know where my team is going to be in proportion to me. I may be on the edge of the objective and they may be on the other edge. And you'll see this later against the Dark Ones where I'm doing finishers thinking I'm buffing my team's fear resistance. They're max feared out and they're nowhere near me. And it'd be kind of better if you could like, there are sometimes you can actually use your camera while in a finisher, but there's sometimes when you're like forced into a cutscene like this. And I did that finisher because as we're running here, El Jefe is still procced. And this would be kind of like strong if I could just proc like have a hunting rifle here, and then as I see a unit off in the distance, hit the arm, and then we could just continue running. Because you're going to see us really struggle keeping together as a team. Because this is solo queue, but boss is pulled out here. And this is where I kind of like fail. Like I'm going for melee, but I'm like, why am I going melee? I'm not spec melee. I spec range. So I'm going to just try and go for headshots, but the mark damage is just not enough either. It's like 521. And it's just not enough. 626 when he's marked. So that's a 20% damage increased. I missed the shot there. Luckily he grabs me, and he just shouldn't be using boss near fire because our fear wasn't going to go up. And there's Demon Dash, and we are by a fire, but I'm also doing a finisher. So it's just like no damage. And he uses fear there, and we're marked because of the tree. But once again, thanks to the fire, we're not receiving any damage here. I just benefit from that one shot after being buffed. But just a blunderbuss would be better. Right, that's where it just benefits from. But I'm just using the grenade launcher because if the off chance I do proc dismemberment, and I think about lighting the fire there, but I'm like, oh, let's keep pushing forward. Normally you wouldn't run against Baal because you'd be proxy and then you'd be out of stamina. And this is where you fail as Leader Ash. Your team needs to be next to you as you're doing this finisher. And now they're out of my range, out of my aura. As you support Ash is out of my aura, so he's just gaining fear quicker than he should be if he was next to me. And now I'm hitting these branches, and now they're completely out of my aura. And now their fear is just going unnatural. If they hit a proxy trap, they're fucked. They get marked, and they may go down. And I thought about lighting a fire there so that we could reduce the fear, and then we just go back into my aura. But greater influences. This is why greater influence is important, because I'm wasting all my stamina trying to run up to catch up to make sure that they're all in it. But yeah, it's just. And I'm like, oh, maybe I could proc. Nope, can't proc it. So this is kind of why like range is not important on Leader Ash, because he's not going to be proccing dismemberment against Baal. And like once again, as you saw, we got shot there, and we were fighting for that finisher. And we do come second in the leaderboard, but that doesn't really matter. And it's not like we're the second, like we had the most damage. As you see, Demon Dash happened there. And, but as we do the finisher here, he's going to hit a proxy. Look how much fear it gains. Basically nothing. Like that's why you want Leader Ash to continuously do finishers here. There is a light source here too. So what we should be doing is just continuous finishers to keep our team's fear down. And once our team is possessed here, we also want a body block too when he's doing the Fury, but he doesn't really do the Fury that often. And we would just want to focus on here. When he does that explosion too, that increases fear on survivors. So we were protecting from fear resistance as well there. And we're just going to focus on doing melee and dodging in between these attacks. As we're increasing the damage too, we're also increasing Support Ash's heals. So that's important as well. And when he possesses survivors here and we are doing finishers here, it makes it even harder for him to possess survivors here. See, Demon Dash, no fear. Now I shot Warrior Ash there, which was dumb. And luckily I'm the one that got grabbed. So no fear was gained. And then I go into a finisher here, and it's going to help my team do more damage to Baal. This is kind of where I fucked up, where I could have been doing a finisher, but I killed the units instead with a grenade launcher. And I know he's stunned, but I dodged just in case shit happens. Some random basic comes up and hits you. As you see here, they're doing very well on maintaining fear here. By just continuously doing finishers, it's almost impossible for him to do damage against us, even though he's really not possessing that often. And I think it's because, like I said, he has a boss build. And he doesn't have that those proxy portals. And once again, people are hit by that, but they don't gain that much fear from the explosion. Don't get me wrong, you'll still get the same amount of damage, but you're just not going to gain that much fear from it. So, look at the difference between this. This is a trap 3. He hit that. He has max fear right there. He uses his ability, right? El Jefe Grande is proc. So he went from 0 fear to like max fear. And then when he hit that trap 3 tree, which you get more fear from, thanks to El Jefe Grande, he didn't get any fear on there. So there's a huge difference between El Jefe Grande and El Jefe. Now the demon, I'm very close to this guy, so when he possesses the support ash here, he's like trying to find out where I am. He was disoriented. It happens. And once again, I'm trying to do finishers here just to help my team in case they hit something, but Ed is on point here, disarming all the traps in front of us, as you see. So he is possessing the car here, and I make the decision to leave Warrior Ash, which was the right call, because Warrior Ash was like, he could have just kept possessing the car, and we could have been damaging the car, and then all of a sudden we go from taking a car to the objective to walking it, and then we're just going to hit proxies and get fucked on. Like, you need to be quick with Baal. Like, there's no reason to continuously loot. And you're going to see the demon made the decision to follow us, so that's going to give time for Warrior Ash to get to us as well, which is fine. And it's the right play by the Baal, in my opinion. The three of us is enough to deal with him on book. So I want to do finishers here. Now there's a lot of units here, so I decided to use a grenade launcher here to kill the units. I'm like, okay, this is perfect. Then I could use my ability, and then I could do a finisher on this. And I'm like, oh, I'm doing great here. I'm buffing my team's fear resistance. Let me turn around. Oh, they're way the fuck over there. That does nothing. I don't want that chainsaw. I didn't even know it was there, to be honest. But yeah, he does have a legendary boomstick, I think. So we are kind of lucky that we didn't get shit on there. We weren't going to take a lot of damage because we weren't feared up. So that's also another reason. So when they're focusing on that, I want to do the dark ones. But in reality, what I should be doing, because you gain so much fear, is just continuously do finishers here. Because if you're doing finishers, the dark ones aren't going to give you that much fear here. And that can save you from taking mark damage. It can save you from doing a ton of stuff. And this is the strength of Leader Ash, is his fear resistance. It's not the damage he provides against Baal. But the team has to let you do this. And that's kind of becomes the struggle in solo queues. Like, you just don't have teams that let you, because they're so kill hungry. And you're going to see the kill hungry kind of mindset during the book phase, even though we don't need it. But I mean, you could see here, like, we're just doing continuous finishers, and then the fear on our team is just not going up when they're nearby me. So I'm going with heavies here, even though I'm not expecting to melee, because just I have nothing else to do here. I want a body block. I'd rather him go for hit me than bulk. So, and I could be showing like the strat of like, oh, okay, when he, as the unit's dying, but we're going to buff the team here. So we're going to do more damage to Baal. So we're able to kind of just delete him, but now we're going to struggle for finishers. Demon Dash doesn't really help against Book as well, and he does the Fury in the wrong direction, so, and then he's just going for kills now because I don't think he knows he doesn't have Book. But it's so hard to get kills with Baal during Book phase because of the level of fear that survivors have. Not to mention I'm Leader Ash, so even just like me existing here is doing okay with fear resistance. Like, because against others, yeah, if the demon was like max level and stuff, you could possess survivors on Book with Baal. But thanks to me existing here, it's kind of hard. It's like a free fear, no evil. And once again, we have to be shooting the unit that is dying, not... yeah, once again, I try to do finisher, but I just couldn't do it. Because everyone here is kill hungry, but that's like what you should be doing. During Book phase, like everything should be just dead, so he has nothing to possess here. But once again, it makes me hard to buff my team here. I forgot to drop long and all my stuff here. Because this is this is solo queue, so I didn't really think about it. Nobody was asking for ammo. So yeah, that's kind of shows like the strength of Leader Ash and shows his weaknesses and why he feels kind of lackluster sometimes. Like, this is the only time really he feels strong, if you're doing correctly and if you're buffing your team. And you just don't benefit from the damage increase that you get from El Jefe Grande, so it's just better if you just buff your team, but your team needs to be doing the damage. So thank you for watching.